Welcome to Cineights, where you get to know the best movies and series. Today's video is about the best sci-fi shows. Be sure to watch until the end because I'm sure you will like it. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video. The Twilight Zone, one of the best anthology series of all time, is arguably the godfather of science fiction on TV. While it encompassed other genres, The Twilight Zone introduced audiences to science fiction stories that have inspired TV and movies since. The show has become so synonymous with the bizarre that The Twilight Zone is a phrase when someone has a surreal experience. Created by Rod Serling in 1959 and running for 5 seasons with 156 episodes, The Twilight Zone accomplished what all science fiction should try to: second to entertain. The best science fiction stories provide social commentary on the current world. With The Twilight Zone disguising these issues in the genre, the writers could remark on topics of the time, such as racism, nuclear warfare, and totalitarianism. The X-Files, a successor to The Twilight Zone in science fiction TV, is a series that includes other genres, too. The X-Files combined elements of a police procedural with the tropes of science fantasy stories. Mainly dealing in the paranormal, the show follows FBI agents Fox Mulder, a believer played by David Duchovny, and Dana Scully, a skeptic played by Gillian Anderson, as they discover and investigate unexplained phenomena. Between 1993 and 2018, The X-Files, created by Chris Carter, released 11 seasons with 216 episodes and 2 spin-off movies. The winning combination of pairing a non-believer with a die-hard conspiracy theorist is a character dynamic that has since grown popular on TV, echoing in series like the first season of True Detective. Westworld, the first season of the HBO series Westworld, is some of the best science fiction television ever created. A common aspect of the genre is the role of artificial intelligence, popular in movies ranging from Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey and the Wachowskis' The Matrix. The idea of man-created life is at the center of the themes in Westworld. At a Wild West-themed vacation amusement park run by androids, wealthy guests can indulge in their wildest fantasies. Accompanied by fantastic performances, the series was created by Jonathan Nolan and Lisa Joy. The basic premise was taken from the 1973 movie Westworld, written and directed by Michael Crichton, and its 1976 sequel, Futureworld. After 36 episodes, HBO canceled the show after its 4th season. The Mandalorian, Jon Favreau reinvigorated the Star Wars franchise with the space western series The Mandalorian. Set 5 years after the events of Return of the Jedi, the story follows a lone bounty hunter who takes in a child with Force abilities the remaining Imperialists are after. The true genius of the series is how Favreau brings Star Wars back to its roots by delivering Jedi stories and Western themes disguised under the galaxy of Star Wars. It's no surprise the writer-director has given fans the best Star Wars live-action treatment since the original trilogy. George Lucas first based Star Wars on Akira Kurosawa's The Hidden Fortress. Jon Favreau follows in those footsteps by drawing the same basic premise from a series of Japanese movies called Lone Wolf and Cub. The best science fiction can adapt old stories and present them in new and exciting ways, and The Mandalorian succeeds in both. Futurama, from the creators of The Simpsons, comes the best science fiction sitcom ever created. When pizza delivery boy Fry is accidentally cryogenically frozen for 1,000 years, he awakes on the eve of 3,000. The series first aired in 1999 and has had 8 seasons with 150 episodes and counting, the last airing in 2023. Futurama is the grandchild of The Twilight Zone in a sense because of the way it conveys social commentary in a futuristic setting. However, where The Twilight Zone pulls the viewer in with bewilderment, Futurama maintains its fans over the years through various forms of satire. Legion, one of the coolest science fiction series, comes in the form of a superhero psychological thriller. Legion is about David Haller, a man who grew up believing the voices in his head were the result of schizophrenia, discovers he is actually a mutant with telepathic abilities. The exciting twist of the show is the finding that David is actually both a mutant and suffers from schizophrenia. Inspired by characters from X-Men comics and taking place in an alternate history to the movies, Noah Hawley created Legion, giving it a 3-season run with 27 episodes and a complete beginning, middle, and end. 11.22.63. Another important facet of science fiction is time travel. Based on the Stephen King novel of the same name, the thriller series 11.22.63 uses time travel to try to tackle one of the most controversial events in U.S. history. When a New England English teacher discovers a portal to 1960, he decides to make it his mission to prevent the assassination of U.S. President John F. Kennedy on November 22, 1963. As a miniseries, this 6-episode season is the best historical time travel TV show. Starring James Franco, the series also features 1917's George McKay. Severance. With only 1 season out, Severance has quickly cemented its place in science fiction television. Unlike any of its kind before, the series brilliantly interweaves the mundanity of office work life with a slowly unraveling futuristic mystery. Employees who work for a large corporation have their work memories separated from their life memories, so no one in the office knows who they are outside of work, and outside the office, no one knows what they do at work. Severance premiered on Apple Plus and had the best first season outing of all the new shows of 2022. The series is also successful by casting mostly comedic actors, like Adam Scott, Zach Cherry, and Britt Lower, who put an emphasis on the drama and absurdity of their situation. Called classic sci-fi, Severance leaves audiences with a bittersweet feeling. Firefly, the best science fiction series to receive its flowers way too late, is the Joss Whedon-created TV show Firefly. After a civil war in the future, the show follows the lives of a crew of smugglers aboard a spaceship and their dealings with the winning side, an intergalactic superpower known as the Alliance. A common aspect of science fiction and a recurring theme throughout the show is that although technological advancements will improve life in some ways, society will always suffer the same problems. This short-lived series is the best version of science fiction meets the Wild West, with charming characters and thrilling action. Unfortunately, because of poor marketing and subsequent poor ratings, the show was cancelled after one season. However, because of its later success, fans received some closure to the series in the form of the 2005 movie Serenity. Samurai Jack, the best science fiction TV show, comes from the same person who created Dexter's Laboratory for Cartoon Network. Genndy Tartakovsky was inspired by Frank Miller's comic book Ronin and the TV show Kung Fu to create Samurai Jack. When a samurai warrior faces an evil wizard, he is sent far into the future, where the evil wizard rules the world, and now the samurai is forced to find a way back home in order to change the past. This premise is brilliantly narrated in the series' opening credits. Samurai Jack originally ran for 4 seasons from 2001-2004 with 52 episodes before ending without a conclusion. Only the best shows on TV are good throughout their entire series run, and very few series fall into this category, like The Sopranos. However, when Samurai Jack came back for a 5th season in 2017 with 10 more episodes, it earned its place in sci-fi TV history. The last season of the show beautifully wrapped up the story of Jack, and in excellent sci-fi fashion, with a bittersweet ending. The Last of Us 2023, after one of the best pilots in sci-fi TV history, fans of the genre knew that they were in for a treat with The Last of Us, based on the video game of the same name about a hardened survivor in a post-apocalyptic United States, taking a girl across the country in hopes that she'll prove to be humanity's salvation. After one of the best pilots in sci-fi TV history, fans of the genre knew that they were in for a treat with The Last of Us, based on the video game of the same name about a hardened survivor in a post-apocalyptic United States, taking a girl across the country in hopes that she'll prove to be humanity's salvation. Dragon Ball Z 1989-1996. When it comes to classic anime series, it hardly gets more iconic than Dragon Ball Z. It's the incredibly fun story of a team of fighters who defend the planet from extraterrestrial enemies with the help of the powerful Dragon Ball. Fusing science fiction, fantasy, and martial arts, it's easily one of the most influential animated shows to ever hit screen. The series contains enough variety in its exciting action sequences of an epic scale to keep any fan of the genre entertained, topped with charming characters with interesting arcs and some truly timeless animation. Arcane 2021. If Arcane is any indication, animation is in a better state than ever. Based on the popular video game League of Legends, it juxtaposes the utopian Piltover and the oppressed Zon by following the origin of two sisters and the powers that tear them apart. You don't need to be a fan of the source material in order to enjoy Arcane, since the engrossing character work and complex story should be enough to lure you in. Its unique animation style is nothing short of impressive, and its narrative is full of twists and turns that will never fail to leave you craving more. Rick and Morty 2013. Many superlatives can and have been applied to Rick and Morty over the course of its run. It's been called one of the best animated shows ever, one of the best sci-fi shows ever, and one of the best shows ever in general. One thing is certain: this animated sci-fi comedy about the universe-hopping adventures of a super scientist and his grandson is unlike anything else on television. The characters are an awful lot of fun, the different stories explored in every episode and season are almost always entertaining, and the show's signature sense of humor is surprisingly smart. If classic science fiction is your thing, Rick and Morty is a show that's guaranteed to keep you satisfied.